Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today we're going to be talking about the Mexican Grand Prix for Formula 1. No F2 obviously because the next race will be at Jeddah for Saudi Arabia. But before we get into qualifying or the starting grid for the F1 race, let's talk about the next race, which is Brazil. Obviously F1 has not visited this track since 2019. Was literally about to last year until some COVID thing happened, some pandemic happened, but luckily they'll be back in the country, and they'll be competing in Brazil. So let's have a look at the track times. So obviously, if you're Brazilian, you'll be very interested in this. FP1 and qualifying will be on the same day on November 12th. FP1 will start at 12:30 to 1:30, and qualifying that will start at 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And then FP2 that'll be on November 13th, including the sprint race as well. FP2 that will start at 12 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sorry, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Sorry, and then the sprint that will start at 4:30 to 5. And then the race on November 14th that will start at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So just another 2 hour long race. I think a total of it, I think 72 laps if I remember correctly. So 71 laps, and that'll be 305 kilometers. Race distance and lap records currently is a 1 minute 10.540 set by Valtteri Bottas in 2018. So that is Brazil all done and dusted. Let's now have a look at the starting grid before we get into the race results. So Valtteri Bottas got pole position for actually surprising most people. Everyone thought that Red Bull was going to be in the starting grid, but it wasn't going to be the case because of a very certain issue that happened in qualifying in Q3, which I'll talk about after this. So Mercedes lockout front row, Bottas and Hamilton, and then a Red Bull row 2 lockout, Verstappen and Perez, and then 5th place, Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel, and Kimi Raikkonen ran out the top 10. Then Antonio Giovinazzi, Fernando Alonso, Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Nikita Mazepin, George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, Lando Norris, Esteban Ocon, and Lance Stroll ran out last place. So Tsunoda, Stroll, Norris, and Ocon had to side the back because of additional power unit elements, and Russell, Stroll were penalized 5 grid penalties for five grid places for unscheduled gearbox changes. So what happened with Red Bull Q3 was I think Tsunoda stopped his lap to I'm just guessing of like what I saw, but something happened. I think Tsunoda got in the way of the qualifying laps. I think mainly from Verstappen. I think Perez also slowed down a bit. And then Christian Horner, the lovely the lovely man that he is, he was just like, yes, we got Tsunoda. Which I think was very, very uncalled for. I don't think it was really Tsunoda's fault. He was just trying to help him, and it was just a bit of an unlucky, just position where Tsunoda was on the racetrack. So it was a bit unlucky there. Obviously, Tsunoda got a lot of backlash, especially from the, from the higher ups on Red Bull like Horner, Marco. Franz Tost actually came into Tsunoda's defense. I don't know about Verstappen Perez. I think they were just sitting on the fence, which is completely understandable. But yeah, but it's unlucky that Tsunoda was ended up in this situation. But yeah, it's a bit sad there. But that is the starting grid for the Mexican Grand Prix, and now let's have a look at the race results. And obviously, Max Verstappen won the race. Is anyone even surprised? No, no one is surprised. Lewis Hamilton is second place, then Sergio Perez, Pierre Gasly, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Sebastian Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen, Fernando Alonso, and Lando Norris ran out the top 10. Then Antonio Giovinazzi, Daniel Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll, Valtteri Bottas, George Russell, Nicholas Latifi, Nikita Mazepin, and then Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda DNF'd. So I think all the carnage really happened in lap 1. I think Schumacher and Tsunoda, I think they both collided in turn 1. So and their day was done immediately. And then Ricciardo and Bottas, they also collided, I think in turn 3, I'm guessing. I think turn 3. In the second DRS zone. Well, like like the front stretch, and then you take take a right, and then it'll be a little chicane, and then you just do another DRS zone. So they collided, I think, in turn 3, entering the DRS zone. That took out Ricciardo's front nose, and Bottas had a pretty terrible day. I think his stop was also really crap as well, so he wasn't a very happy finish driver today. But with that win from Verstappen, he gets to extend his championship lead by I don't know how many points, but always we'll have a look at that right now, and we'll also have a look at the constructors as well. For some reason, it's not letting me. There we go. So Max Verstappen currently in the lead with 312.5 and a half points, and then Hamilton with 293 and a half points. Third place it is Valtteri Bottas, then Sergio Perez, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, and Fernando Alonso ran out the top 10. Then Esteban Ocon, Sebastian Vettel, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, George Russell, Kimi Raikkonen, Nicholas Latifi, Antonio Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher, Robert Kubica, and Nikita Mazepin ran out all the drivers who have competed in the F1 in the season. So it is currently a 19-point difference between Verstappen and Hamilton coming into Brazil. Obviously, Verstappen is also great at Brazil, so his lead is probably going to be even more. Is probably going to be extended even further. While for Qatar, which is the next track, that's going to be a bit of an unknown for a lot of these drivers because none of them have actually competed on that track. So that'll be very interesting to watch that. Then we'll have a look at the constructors, I guess. Mercedes currently in the lead, only by 1 point from Red Bull. And then Ferrari, McLaren, Alpine, AlphaTauri, Aston Martin, Williams, Alfa Romeo, and Haas. And also, I guess I'll just talk about F2. I've said this many times though, but F2, their next race will be at Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So F1 they only have, I think, like one more. Yeah, so they have Brazil and then Qatar, and then F2 will be back and for the season finale as well. We know that, and obviously for next season as well, Clement Novalak, he'll be competing for the last 2 rounds, filling in, I think, replacing Lerm Zendelli, if I remember correctly, and he'll be also competing so he'll be competing with MP Motorsports for the full 2022 season. And then we'll have a look at the drivers' standings. There we go, the drivers' standings coming to Jeddah, and then Saudi Arabia. Then Yas Marina will be the final race for F2. I don't know why it says Saudi Arabia was going to be the final race for F2, but why not? Oscar Piastri he's currently in first place with 178 points, so a pretty big gap from Guang Yu Zhou, who has 142 points. Then Robert Schwartzman, Dan Tickton, Teo Porcher, Yuri Vips, Jihan Derivala, Liam Lawson, Felipe Djokovic, and Richard Verschoor ran out the top 10. So those are the standings for F2 as they go into Jeddah on the 3rd to the 5th of December. So yeah, that's really it for me now. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Catch you guys all next time in the next one. Goodbye.